Hi guys, in this vlog we're playing in an uncapped 5-10 underground cash game in the worst place in New York called Long Island. Our budget is 5K. We don't play cash too often. This place let us film our whole cards. This is a hack, prototypical cash game vlog. I don't really do this format a lot. I hope you guys like this hand history stuff. Watch to the end for my favorite hand. I think I do such the sickest bluff ever at the very end. You gotta watch to the end. All right, we're sitting down in a 5-5 game. Quickly turns to 5-10. We buy in for $3,000. Our budget is $5,000, so we can do a 2/3 reload if we need to. We're brought here by Danny, DLAZ. It's a game in Long Island, and he says it's generally soft, even though we don't play cash. Let's go. So listen, excuse my voice. Sorry I'm so dedicated to making videos that I'll record when I have fucking probably COVID. We started the session, and right off the rip, we win a really big hand when we river the backdoor nut flush. We're up like $500 in the session right off the go. I didn't have my setup ready to write notes yet, but good start to the session. The rest of the hand histories I have in detail, though. In this pot, under the gun raises to $30, and we're in the hijack with ace-jack off. I think this is a 3-bet or fold type of hand this deep. So we 3-bet to 105. Under the gun calls, and we go to a flop of ace-9-6 rainbow. It's a good flop for us. He checks, and we bet 60. He calls. I'm not sure if this is a small bet. I'm used to tournament sizes. Turn comes another ace, and now he checks, and this is where I may be really playing like a tournament donk. He checks, and I decide to check back, hoping that he'll bluff rivers, or maybe will think I don't have an aces often and pay off some more rivers. But I think in cash games this deep, we're just supposed to get as much money as we can when we have such a strong hand. So this is probably a mistake in hindsight. Now the river comes some card, I don't even remember what it is. He checks, and then we decide to bet pot, $350, and I don't remember exactly what I was thinking at the time. That is as far as size. Why I bet so big, I don't remember my exact thought process, but either way, we win the pot. Fuck your mother. He folds. It's fine. But I don't know about my sizing choice in the river. What are you going to do? What do you want me to do? Fuck your mother. So the session's starting off really well. And as you guys know, as I keep saying, I'm a mostly tournament player. I never really play cash games. And I certainly don't play this big. I don't play 5-10 when I play. Maybe I'll play 2-5. But we're doing well early and running well early, and here we get another big hand, pocket aces. Some experts think it's the biggest hand, and it's even better than regular aces, because not only are we on the button, but there's a straddle and re-straddle in this hand to $40. So, we're on the button, we make it 105. Apparently, we recheck our cards. The only caller we get is who would be the original straddler. The flop comes 8-6-3 rainbow. He checks, we bet $65, he calls. Turn comes the queen of whatever. He checks, and same as the last hand, we approach this, I believe, incorrectly for a cash game. We approach it like a tournament player, and we check back. I'll explain what I mean by this tournament player stuff now. In tournaments, you're much shallower stacked. You have less big blinds. So when you have a monster hand and a huge advantage like we do in this hand, it's much easier to find a way to get in all the chips by the river, which is your goal when you have a stronger hand than your opponent. There's no way you're going to get all of the chips in a cash game if you don't start putting money in with good hands early. So tournaments, you have the luxury of being a little more cute, with you could still find a way to get it all in. In cash game, that's just not the case. But I probably fuck these hands up even in a tournament. Anyway, the river comes another queen. He checks, we bet 105, and he calls. He later said he had pocket kings. I don't know if he was just trying to fuck with me, but that he didn't 3-bet pre. Regardless, we win the pot. A great start to the session still. We're up about $800 right off the go, right off the rip. All right, so this hand, under the gun, DLAZ is open to 60. We're in the cutoff with pocket jacks. We go ahead and 3-bet to 200. Folds to the straddle, Andrew, who is one of Danny's friends. We know him a little bit, and he 4-bets to 550.
Wait, now I gotta fuck up Andrew.
I think we're just gonna be a nit here. I think his range has to be so strong. Even though we're in position, it's just not. It's just not. So we emotionally say goodbye to pocket jacks, accept that we're gonna be a nit, and make the discipline fold. He later told us he had aces. I told everyone at the table I folded jacks, and Danny pulled me aside later on break and was like, "You're just gonna get 4-bets so light now the rest of the session, you idiot." And he makes a good point, but he's thinking like too good of a player. Like, I shouldn't volunteer information, but nobody is really good enough to implement exploiting that. This session, we generally stay disciplined, but a couple times we did a bad open, like here with King 9 off and low jack. We get 3-bet. We got punished and then have to fold. So we're still up around 800 in the session when...
2 cards, 1 board, bomb pot.
As he said, this is a bomb pot, $100. 2 cards, 1 board. It's a hold'em bomb pot. 6 of us put in $100 each. We have king, queen of hearts. And the flop comes king, 10, 2. Checks to us, we bet 350, and everyone folds. Easy way to pick up 500. Minus the massive illegal underground rake of $25. Update, while recording this, I do confirm to have COVID, so fuck you. Here we have a hand we'd love to take a flop with. Queen, jack suited. There's a straddle to 10.
$10 straddle.
But then some dickhead 10X's it and
Raise to 100.
fucks up our plans, so we don't get to see a flop.
$10 straddle on a raise to 100?
Correct. Yes.
He wasn't a dickhead at all, actually. I had a lot of fun playing with him. But as a borderline gambling addict, when you prevent me from seeing a flop that my heart was about to think I'm going to see, you might as well be a Nazi. All jokes aside, we were a little nervous coming in. We tend to psych ourselves out. Like, we know how to play poker. It doesn't matter if it's 5-10 or 10-20. I think that we underestimate ourselves a lot with better template to have as a poker player than being overconfident. But I think a lot of you guys can relate that when you go to play poker, maybe even for the first time live, you psych yourself out and think these players are so great. They're just idiots like us. All right, we take a peepsy before it's on us. It's a bad habit, but we have ace-8 of clubs, and we're in the $10 straddle seat. It folds to DLAZ in the cutoff, who raises it to 40. The big blind calls, and we actually misclick by mistake, like throwing an extra 25, but it's just a call, which is what we were intending on doing. It's 125 in the middle, 3 ways to a flop, and it comes ace, jack, 7, 2 spades, 1 heart. The blind and myself both check to the razor, the great DLAZ. He's a close friend of mine. We know each other's strategy, obviously. Anyway, he bets 50. Big blind folds. And we do the joke misclick call because we had done that pre-flop. We were just joking with her. We call. Turn comes 5 of clubs. We check. Danny overbets the pot like a thug, almost 2x. He bets 400 into a pot of 225. 2x pot bet. But this guy forgot that on the whole drive there, he was telling me his strategy and overbet pots and that he tries to get people off weak aces sometimes in this cash game. So we call. Usually it's a bad idea when your opponent knows your exact strategy. The river comes the 5, not of spades. And we check, just praying that he doesn't fire again. We just are desperate to get to showdown. He snap checks back, and we win.
Woo, we get the cocksucker. And we get him. Got him.
We take the pot down graciously.
Got him.
And we're on to the next hand. All right, so for this hand, we have 4,000 effective in our stack in front of us, and we're playing 5-10. Under the gun has opened to 40. The hijack 3 bets to 105. We have pocket queens on the button, and we 4-bet to 250. Now it folds back to the original razor, and he just calls our 4-bet. Now it's back to the 3-better, and he decides to put in the 5-bet to $1,000. We count out our stack and realize that without the 250, we have what we said, $3,700. I don't know if I ever have a 6-bet jam range here. I think my only choice is to call. It's a really weird spot, but I think that if I jam, I'm just turning even aces into a bluff. That all the hands that I want to continue in the hand with, I just call. I don't, or 6-bet, whatever. I think his range is like maybe jacks, but definitely queens, kings, aces, and ace-king. So we're pretty screwed and only going to get called if we're beat, basically, if we jam. So for all those reasons, we just go ahead and call. Under the gun folds, and we're heads up to a flop. The flop comes ace 4-4, 2 clubs, 1 spade. Not a good flop for us. I would have been nervous on low boards also that he has a bigger overpair. You know, I'm a little scared. I'm in the woods here. But this is almost making it simpler for me that when he does go ahead and bet 500 into the pot of 2,200, just gonna knit it up and fold, and then just he later told me he would tell me what he had after the session, and he's an honorable guy because I forgot to ask when I was leaving, and he told Danny to relay to me that he had ace king in his hand. So I think we played this well. It's just very uncomfortable spot for me. I'm not used to being in these blah 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 blah. So the great start to the night in one hand is eliminated, and we're back down to what we bought in for, which is around $3,000. This hand starts with a straddle and re-straddle, getting up to $160. So the cutoff is basically under the gun. He raises to $400, and then we're on the button with king jack suited. It's too good of a hand. This is a way bigger pot than we want to play, but we have to call. It's too big of a pot. We're in position. It's a hand that flops decently well. Then it folds around to the straddle, and the guy goes all in for like 6K. Cutoff folds, and we have to just fold. Feels like you're stealing $800, but I gotta let you do it, dude. You know what I mean? You come into my house with a gun and say, give me the money, I fucking give you the fucking money.
$500 flip. All right, good. Yeah, I'm definitely in. Put your money in.
You're gonna put this on fucking social media.
This is on your stake. I'm gonna show your backers.
Sweat it.
Yeah. Who's first act? That's a pretty good card.
Oh shit! Fuck. One order before we beat you on.
Live.
All right, so we have saved my favorite hand of this session for last. Enjoy. Please fucking subscribe and let me know if you like this format of video from me. In this pot, under the gun, a tight aggressive player raises to $35. And we're in the big blind, and we defend with King 10 offsuit. King of clubs, 10 of spades. These suits will matter later. The flop comes Queen 8 7, 2 clubs, 1 spade. We check. These c-bets a little less than half pot. If he bet bigger, we would have folded. But anyway, with our over card, backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, we decide to continue. The turn is the Jack of Hearts. So we now have an up and down straight draw. We also currently block the nuts, which would be 10-9 on this board. We check, and he bets essentially pot. He bets 125 into 135. At this point in the pot, I'm like, I have equity, but my most likely route to winning this pot is going to have to be bluffing. How am I going to do that? So I consider for a while check raising turn, but ultimately come to the conclusion that I'm too bluff heavy when I check raise turn here. So ultimately we call, and we still have another street to hit our straight, or we can get creative on certain cards and figure out a way to bluff. In the river comes the 4 of clubs, so the front door flush draw gets there. We now block that with the king of clubs, and as I said, we block the only straight with 10-9. We know we're bluffing. The decision is between donk lead bluffing or check raise bluffing. What we're really trying to rep here is a flush. And we would never lead a flush. We wouldn't lead most of our hands, honestly. So check raise is going to be the way. Check. And he bets bigger than I would have wanted him to. He bets pot, again, $400. But we're too degen to deviate from the plan. We're going for it. So we check raise to $1,300. And he's in the tank forever. We are trying to control our breathing. This is scary. We join in the conversation going on next to us, trying to act like we're relaxed. Eventually, he does call, and he had top set of queen. But the fact that he tanked so long with top set made me even more happy with the bluff. We thought through the turn and river well, and I'm proud of how I played this hand. Or I just could have folded pre-flop. Who the fuck knows? So we ended up making like $500 on the session. A small profit. But there are a lot of other little hands I didn't show you. If you please subscribe or your entire family is going to die. I don't mean to threaten you. I just really need the subscribers. And this is what will happen karma-wise. I'm so close to 100,000. I'm dying over here.
Now, he doesn't deserve any applause. He called with King Jack.